Long before warp drives, tricorders, and the Prime Directive became staples of sci-fi culture, Star Trek was just a risky pitch. Wagon Train to the stars. From that bold beginning, Gene Roddenberry built a universe that redefined television, shattered barriers, and inspired generations. But behind the iconic starships and philosophical dialogue lies a treasure trove of hidden stories, some surprising, some hilarious, and some profoundly human. What do a real explosion, a stolen pair of ears, Lucille Ball's gamble, and a cat have in common? They all helped shape the Star Trek phenomenon. In this video, we'll uncover 30 behind-the-scenes secrets from the original series to the next generation and beyond. Stories of courage, creativity, chaos, and cultural revolution. Whether you're a lifelong Trekkie or a curious newcomer, these revelations will give you a fresh appreciation for the franchise that dared to imagine a better future. Set phasers to stunned, you're about to see Star Trek like never before. 1. Inspired by Wagon Train, Gene Roddenberry, a former pilot and police officer turned writer, conceived Star Trek as a bold fusion of Western adventure and science fiction, famously pitching it to NBC as Wagon Train to the Stars. The 1957 to 1965 TV series Wagon Train followed settlers journeying across the American frontier, facing moral and physical challenges. Roddenberry saw the Starship Enterprise as a futuristic wagon venturing into the uncharted final frontier of space. This concept allowed him to blend the rugged individualism and exploratory spirit of Westerns with speculative fiction, creating a narrative framework where each episode could explore new worlds, much like settlers encountering new lands. Roddenberry drew additional inspiration from Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels, 1726, which used fantastical voyages to satirize human society. This influence is evident in Star Trek's use of alien cultures to mirror and critique contemporary issues such as racism, war, and inequality. The 1956 film Forbidden Planet also shaped the show's vision, providing a template for a disciplined, multi-skilled starship crew and advanced technology like the Enterprise's computers. The Enterprise itself, a self-sufficient vessel with a diverse crew, became a metaphor for humanity's potential, navigating moral dilemmas in distant galaxies. Roddenberry's pitch, detailed in The Making of Star Trek, 1968, emphasized adventure but also philosophy, setting Star Trek apart from the monster-driven sci-fi of the era and laying the foundation for its enduring appeal. 2 pilots filmed the creation of Star Trek. The original series, TOS, was a testament to Gene Roddenberry's tenacity as it required 2 pilot episodes to secure NBC's approval, an unusual occurrence in 1960s television. The first pilot, The Cage, 1964, starred Jeffrey Hunter as Captain Christopher Pike, leading the Enterprise on a mission to rescue humans from a telepathic alien species. Directed by Robert Butler and filmed at Desilu Productions, the episode cost approximately $630,000, a staggering sum for a TV pilot. Despite its ambitious scope, NBC executives deemed The Cage too intellectual, slow-paced, and lacking action, criticizing its complex themes and minimal combat. However, they saw potential in the concept and, in a rare move, funded a second pilot. The second pilot, Where No Man Has Gone Before, 1965, introduced William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk, a more charismatic and decisive leader. Directed by James Goldstone, this episode leaned into action and drama, depicting the Enterprise crew grappling with crew members gaining godlike powers after crossing a galactic barrier. The retooled cast, faster pacing, and clearer moral stakes convinced NBC to greenlight the series, which premiered in 1966. The two-pilot process, detailed in Inside Star Trek by Herbert Solow and Robert Justman, showcased Roddenberry's willingness to adapt while preserving his vision of a thoughtful, futuristic saga. The cage was later repurposed in the TOS episode The Menagerie, ensuring its footage wasn't wasted. 3. Spock's human swap. The evolution of Spock's character between the two TOS pilots was pivotal to Star Trek's success. In The Cage, Spock, played by Leonard Nimoy, was a full Vulcan, portrayed as a logical but emotionally distant science officer under Captain Pike, Jeffrey Hunter. When Hunter declined to return for the second pilot due to scheduling conflicts and dissatisfaction with the role, Roddenberry recast the captain with William Shatner as James T. Kirk. To differentiate Spock from the new action-oriented Kirk, Roddenberry and writer Samuel A. Peoples reimagined Spock as a half-human, half-Vulcan hybrid, adding layers of emotional complexity. This change gave Spock a compelling internal conflict. His Vulcan heritage demanded logic and emotional suppression, while his human side yearned for connection and feeling. Nimoy embraced this duality, using subtle gestures, like a raised eyebrow or a slight pause, to convey Spock's struggle, making him relatable to viewers. The decision, discussed in Nimoy's autobiography I Am Spock, transformed Spock into a cultural icon, resonating with audiences who felt like outsiders. Spock's dynamic with Kirk, balancing logic and passion, became the emotional core of TOS, influencing countless sci-fi character archetypes. 4. Lucille Ball's support. Lucille Ball, the comedic legend and co-owner of Desilu Productions, played a crucial role in Star Trek's survival. In 1964, Desilu was struggling financially, having transitioned from producing hits like I Love Lucy to riskier projects. When Gene Roddenberry pitched Star Trek, Desilu's board saw it as a costly gamble, especially after the expensive failure of The Cage. NBC's hesitation to commit to a series further fueled doubts, and the board urged Ball to abandon the project to avoid bankrupting the studio. Ball, however, was a visionary producer who valued creative risk. According to Desilu, the story of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz by Coyne Stephen Sanders, she overruled her board, believing in Roddenberry's idealistic vision of a diverse, forward-thinking future. Her decision to fund the second pilot and support the series' early seasons was a gamble that paid off, as Star Trek became a cultural phenomenon. Ball's role, highlighted on StarTrek.com, underscores her as a trailblazer in television, not just for comedy, but for championing innovative storytelling that might otherwise have been lost. 5. First, interracial kiss. The TOS episode, Plato's Stepchildren, 1968, broke ground with what is often cited as American television's first scripted interracial kiss between Captain Kirk, William Shatner, and Lieutenant Uhura, Nichelle Nichols. In the episode, telekinetic aliens force Kirk and Uhura to kiss as part of a cruel spectacle. While the kiss was non-consensual within the story, its real-world impact was profound, challenging racial taboos during a time of civil rights struggles and anti-miscegenation laws in some U.S. states. NBC executives feared backlash, particularly from Southern affiliates, and requested alternative takes without the kiss. Shatner and Nichols deliberately exaggerated or flubbed these takes, ensuring the kiss scene was the only usable footage, as Nichols recounted in Beyond Uhura. When the episode aired, it received minimal backlash and even praise from some viewers, marking a step forward for racial representation. The moment, analyzed in Star Trek and History by Nancy Reagan, remains a landmark in TV history, symbolizing Star Trek's commitment to equality. 6. Nichols's MLK encounter. Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura, nearly left TOS after its first season in 1966, frustrated by her character's limited dialogue and lack of development. As a black actress in a predominantly white industry, she felt her role was tokenistic, despite its visibility. At a NAACP convention, Nichols met Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., who revealed he was a Star Trek fan. King praised Uhura as a groundbreaking, non-stereotypical black character, a dignified professional officer whose presence on the Enterprise bridge inspired young people of color. King urged Nichols to stay, arguing that her role was vital for the civil rights movement, showing a future where black individuals were integral to society. Moved by his passion, Nichols remained, as she detailed in her memoir, Beyond Uhura. Her decision elevated Uhura into a cultural icon, influencing future black actors and professionals, including astronaut Mae Jemison, who cited Uhura as an inspiration. Nichols's encounter with King highlights Star Trek's real-world impact on social progress. 7. Shatner's tinnitus. During the filming of the TOS episode Arena, 1967, a staged explosion on the Vasquez Rocks set went awry, exposing William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy to a deafening blast. Both actors developed tinnitus, a condition causing persistent ringing in the ears, which plagued them for decades. Shatner, in interviews with the American Tinnitus Association, described how the constant noise disrupted his concentration, sleep, and emotional well-being, requiring years of therapy and specialized hearing aids to manage. Nimoy also struggled but found relief through habituation techniques. The incident, noted in Star Trek Creator by David Alexander, exposed the lax safety standards of 1960s TV production, where pyrotechnics were often handled without modern precautions. Shatner's openness about his condition later raised awareness about tinnitus, turning a personal hardship into advocacy for others with the condition. 8. Spock's ear struggles. Leonard Nimoy's transformation into Spock required grueling daily makeup sessions, with the Vulcan ears being the most challenging element. Designed by makeup artist Fred Phillips, the prosthetic ears took hours to apply, involving custom molds and adhesive that irritated Nimoy's skin. Early versions were uncomfortable and poorly fitted, requiring multiple redesigns to achieve the iconic pointed shape. A 1966 theft of a pair from the Desilu set, reported by Mental Floss, caused a production delay as replacements had to be crafted. Nimoy endured the discomfort to maintain Spock's alien authenticity, even sleeping with the prosthetics on during tight shooting schedules. The ears became a visual shorthand for Spock's otherness, symbolizing his struggle between Vulcan and human identities. Fans embraced the look, with the ears now a staple of Star Trek cosplay and merchandising, underscoring their cultural significance. 9. Budget cuts impact. When TOS premiered in 1966, its $200,000 per episode budget was substantial, allowing for detailed sets, costumes, and effects like the Enterprise model. However, by the third season, NBC slashed the budget to $185,000 per episode due to inconsistent ratings and high production costs. This forced the crew to reuse sets, like the Enterprise bridge, limit location shoots, and rely on cost-saving effects, such as stock footage of planets. Episodes like Spectre of the Gun used minimalistic sets to cut costs, framing the story in a surreal, unfinished town. The budget cuts, coupled with a less favorable Friday night time slot, contributed to declining viewership and NBC's decision to cancel TOS in 1969 after 79 episodes. Despite this, the show's cult following grew through syndication, as detailed in The 50-Year Mission by Edward Gross and Mark Altman. The financial struggles highlight the precarious economics of 1960s TV, where even a visionary series like Star Trek faced constant threats. 10. Fan campaigns saved. Season 3, in 1968, NBC planned to cancel TOS after its second season due to middling ratings and high costs. However, a grassroots fan campaign, spearheaded by Bijo Trimble and her husband John, turned the tide. The Trimbles, avid sci-fi fans, organized a letter-writing campaign, rallying viewers to flood NBC with over 1 million letters pleading for the show's renewal. Universities, sci-fi clubs, and even schoolchildren participated, making it one of the earliest examples of organized fandom influencing a network. The campaign, chronicled in Star Trek Lives by Jacqueline Lichtenberg, overwhelmed NBC, which feared alienating a passionate audience. The network relented, granting a third season, though with a reduced budget and a poor time slot. This fan-driven victory, noted by Sci-Fi, set a precedent for future campaigns like those for Firefly and Jericho, and cemented Star Trek's status as a fan-powered phenomenon. 11th. Kirk's green wraparound Captain Kirk's iconic gold command tunic, a symbol of his leadership, was actually dyed green but appeared gold under the intense studio lights used in TOS. The discrepancy arose because 1960s color TVs had inconsistent calibration, sometimes rendering the tunic green on viewers' screens. A variant green wraparound tunic, worn by Kirk in episodes like The Trouble with Tribbles, became a fan favorite for its casual, swashbuckling style. The wardrobe quirk, explored by Screen Rant, sparked debates among fans, with some theorizing it was a deliberate nod to Kirk's bold personality. The green-gold confusion reflects the technical limitations of early color broadcasting, yet it added to Star Trek's charm, with the wraparound now a popular replica in cosplay and a quirky piece of the show's visual legacy. 12. Uhura's name. Origin, Nichelle Nichols chose the name Uhura for her character, drawing inspiration from Robert Rourke's 1962 novel Uhuru, which she was reading during her audition. The Swahili word uhuru means freedom, a fitting choice for a character who broke barriers as a black woman in a leadership role on the Enterprise. Nichols, in interviews with NPR, explained how the name resonated with Uhura's dignity and strength, reflecting the character's role as a symbol of empowerment. Roddenberry embraced the suggestion, weaving the name into Star Trek's lore. Uhura's name became a touchstone for the show's commitment to diversity, with its cultural roots amplifying her significance. Fans and scholars, as noted in Star Trek and the Civil Rights Movement by Daniel Bernardi, celebrate Uhura's name as a deliberate nod to African heritage and liberation. 13. Transporter effect creation. The transporter's iconic shimmering effect, seen when characters beamed to and from the Enterprise, was a stroke of budget-conscious brilliance by effects artist Darrell Anderson. Unable to afford complex optical effects, Anderson sprinkled aluminum powder over a spotlight, capturing the sparkling result on camera. The technique, described in The Art of Star Trek by Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens, created a visually striking effect that became synonymous with Star Trek's futuristic technology. The transporter itself was a narrative device to avoid costly landing sequences, allowing characters to move instantly between locations. The low-cost sparkle effect proved that creativity could overcome financial constraints, becoming a hallmark of Star Trek's visual identity and influencing sci-fi effects in shows like Doctor Who. 14. Enterprise Model Reuse. The 11-foot Enterprise model, built by model maker Richard Datton for TOS, was a marvel of craftsmanship, costing $5,000, roughly $40,000 in 2025 dollars. Constructed from wood, plastic, and metal, it featured detailed lighting to simulate the ship's nacelles and saucer section. The model's durability allowed it to be reused in Star Trek: The Next Generation, 1987 to 1994, for establishing shots, despite the show's larger budget. After TOS ended, the model was donated to the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum, where it remains a centerpiece, restored to its 1966 appearance. Its reuse, noted in Star Trek, The Official Guide to Our Universe by Andrew Fazekas, underscores the model's engineering and its role as a tangible link between Star Trek's past and future. 15. Roddenberry's Rule, Broken Gene. Roddenberry's vision for Star Trek, The Next Generation, TNG, included a strict rule. The Enterprise D crew should avoid interpersonal conflict, reflecting a utopian 24th century society free of petty disputes. This directive, meant to contrast with TOS's more human dynamics, frustrated writers like Ronald D. Moore, who felt it limited character development. By TNG's later seasons, showrunner Rick Berman relaxed the rule, allowing subtle tensions such as Picard's disagreements with Riker or Data's struggles with human behavior. This shift, analyzed in The Guardian, enriched TNG's storytelling, making characters more relatable and paving the way for serialized dramas like Deep Space Nine. The evolution of Roddenberry's rule reflects TNG's growth from rigid idealism to a nuanced exploration of humanity, contributing to its critical acclaim. 16. Patrick Stewart's wig. When Patrick Stewart auditioned for Captain Jean-Luc Picard in TNG, he was uncertain whether a bald actor could embody a commanding starship captain. To test the role, he wore a wig during early meetings with Gene Roddenberry. According to Stewart's memoir, Making It So, Roddenberry, unimpressed by the wig, removed it during a discussion, declaring that Stewart's natural baldness suited Picard's authoritative yet intellectual persona. The decision cemented Picard's distinctive look, with Stewart's commanding presence and resonant voice making the character a fan favorite. The anecdote highlights Roddenberry's instinct for authenticity, ensuring Picard stood out as a cerebral leader in contrast to Kirk's swashbuckling style. 17th. Data's cat inspiration. Brent Spiner, who played the android Data in TNG, crafted the character's inquisitive and slightly alien demeanor by observing his pet cat. Spiner noted in interviews with CBR that his cat's curious head, tilts, and deliberate movements inspired Data's mannerisms, such as his quizzical glances when analyzing human behavior. This subtle choice gave Data a unique physicality, blending mechanical precision with a childlike curiosity about humanity. Data's quest to understand emotions resonated with viewers, making him one of TNG's most beloved characters. Spiner's cat-inspired performance, combined with his precise vocal delivery, created a memorable sci-fi archetype, influencing later android characters like the Orville's Isaac. 18. Worf's forehead. Evolution. Michael Dorn's portrayal of Worf, TNG's Klingon security chief, required extensive makeup with intricate forehead ridges that took 2.5 hours to apply daily. Unlike TOS's Klingons, who had minimal makeup due to budget constraints, TNG's larger budget allowed makeup artist Michael Westmore to design detailed prosthetics, reflecting Klingons as a proud warrior culture. The ridges evolved over TNG's run, becoming more elaborate to distinguish individual Klingons. Dorn's commitment to the grueling makeup process, detailed in Star Trek, The Next Generation 365, helped make Worf a fan favorite, embodying Klingon honor and human loyalty. The forehead ridges became a visual symbol of Klingon identity, influencing their depiction in later series like Discovery. 19th. DeForest Kelley's cameo. DeForest Kelley, beloved as TOS's Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, made a poignant cameo in TNG's pilot, Encounter at Farpoint, 1987. Playing a 137-year-old admiral, McCoy inspects the Enterprise D, grumbling about technology but offering a nod to Data's humanity. The scene, detailed on StarTrek.com, served as a symbolic passing of the torch from TOS to TNG, honoring the original series while introducing a new era. Kelly's appearance thrilled fans, bridging the 79-year gap between the two timelines and reinforcing Star Trek's continuity. His gruff charm, preserved in the cameo, reminded viewers of McCoy's enduring legacy as the heart of the Enterprise crew. 20. First film's budget blowout. Star Trek, the Motion Picture, 1979, the franchise's first feature film, was a financial gamble that nearly derailed the series. Initially budgeted at $15 million, production costs soared to $46 million due to ambitious visual effects by Douglas Trumbull, extensive set construction, and delays caused by an unfinished script. Director Robert Wise struggled to balance Roddenberry's cerebral vision with studio demands for action, resulting in a slow-paced film. Despite mixed reviews, the movie grossed $139 million worldwide per Empire, ensuring the franchise's continuation. However, Paramount reduced Roddenberry's creative control for subsequent films, favoring more action-oriented stories. The budget blowout, analyzed in the Star Trek Encyclopedia, highlighted the challenges of transitioning Star Trek from TV to cinema. 21st, Spock's death leak. Leonard Nimoy, feeling typecast as Spock, requested the character's death in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, 1982, to exit the franchise. The plot, involving Spock's sacrifice to save the Enterprise, leaked before the film's release, sparking fan outrage. Protests included Spock Lives billboards and petitions, with fans fearing the loss of a beloved character. Nimoy, moved by the response and enjoying his directorial role in later films, agreed to Spock's resurrection via a mind meld with McCoy, setting up Star Trek. The compromise, detailed in I Am Spock, preserved Spock's arc while satisfying fans, demonstrating the power of fandom in shaping Star Trek's narrative direction. 22. Ricardo Montalban's chest. In Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Ricardo Montalban's portrayal of Khan, Noonien Singh, included a memorable bare-chested scene showcasing the 61-year-old actor's real physique. Montalban, a fitness enthusiast, maintained his muscular build through daily workouts, eschewing prosthetics. Director Nicholas Meyer, in DVD commentary, praised Montalban's discipline, noting it added authenticity to Khan's imposing presence as a genetically enhanced superhuman. The scene, iconic for its intensity, amplified Khan's charisma and menace, making him one of Star Trek's greatest villains. Montalban's commitment, per Star Trek II production notes, elevated the film's impact, cementing Khan's place in sci-fi history. 23rd. Shatner's directing stint. William Shatner directed Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, 1989, aiming to explore profound themes about faith and humanity's search for God. His vision, inspired by televangelists, clashed with a $33 million budget, limiting special effects and leading to production issues, including a rushed climax. The film grossed only $52 million and received poor reviews for its uneven tone and weak effects, per Rotten Tomatoes. Despite the setback, Shatner's ambition, detailed in Star Trek Movie Memories, showed his desire to expand Kirk's character. The film's failure halted his directing aspirations within Star Trek, but it remains a cult favorite for its philosophical undertones. 24. TNG's syndication success. Star Trek, The Next Generation, 1987 to 1994, revolutionized TV by thriving in first-run syndication, airing on independent stations rather than a major network. This model, risky for the time, allowed TNG to reach diverse markets, building a massive audience. By 1990, it drew 20 million viewers weekly per Variety, outpacing many network shows. The success, driven by compelling stories and a strong cast, proved syndication's viability for high-budget sci-fi. TNG's model influenced series like Babylon 5 and Xena, Warrior Princess, as noted in the Essential Science Fiction Television Reader. Its syndication triumph ensured Star Trek's longevity, spawning multiple spin-offs and solidifying its cultural dominance. 25. Whoopi Goldberg's request. Whoopi Goldberg, a lifelong Star Trek fan inspired by Nichelle Nichols's Uhura, personally asked Gene Roddenberry for a TNG role during a 1987 meeting. Roddenberry, impressed by her passion, created Guinan, the wise El-Orian bartender who dispensed cryptic advice in 10 Forward. Goldberg's performance, noted in Star Trek, The Next Generation Companion, added warmth and mystique to TNG, with Guinan's centuries-old perspective enriching episodes like The Measure of a Man. Goldberg's request, shared in the View interviews, reflected Uhura's impact on her career, making Guinan a bridge between Star Trek's past and present and a fan-favorite character. 26. Klingon language creation linguist Mark Okrand developed the Klingon language for Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, 1984, building on a few guttural phrases from TOS. Okrand created a full grammar, syntax, and vocabulary, ensuring the language sounded alien yet learnable. His work, detailed in the Klingon Dictionary, expanded Klingon into a cultural phenomenon, with fans forming the Klingon Language Institute and translating works like Hamlet into Klingon. The language's authenticity, used in films and series like TNG, added depth to Klingon culture, making it one of Star Trek's most immersive elements and a testament to the franchise's commitment to world-building. 27th. Voyager's female captain. Star Trek, Voyager, 1995 to 2001, introduced Captain Kathryn Janeway, played by Kate Mulgrew, as the franchise's first female lead captain. Janeway's leadership, combining scientific curiosity, moral resolve, and maternal warmth, guided the stranded Voyager crew through the Delta Quadrant. Her role, praised by sci-fi, broke gender barriers in sci-fi, offering a nuanced portrayal of a woman in command. Mulgrew's performance, detailed in Mosaic by Jerry Taylor, inspired female fans and creators, influencing characters like Captain Michael Burnham in Discovery. Janeway's legacy underscores Star Trek's progressive ethos, redefining leadership in the genre. 28th. Deep Space Nine's dark tone. Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, 1993 to 1999, departed from Roddenberry's utopian vision, embracing serialized storytelling and morally complex themes. Set on a stationary space station, DS9 explored the Dominion War, religious tensions, and characters like Captain Sisko, who grappled with ethical dilemmas. Its darker tone, initially divisive, earned praise from The Guardian for pioneering nuanced sci-fi narratives. DS9's focus on conflict and diversity, analyzed in Deep Space and Sacred Time by John Wagner, influenced modern serialized dramas like Battlestar Galactica. Now celebrated as a trailblazer, DS9 expanded Star Trek's storytelling horizons. 29th. Enterprise's Real Coffee. William Shatner, known for his method acting, insisted on using real coffee in Kirk's cup during TOS scenes, rejecting prop liquids like colored water. According to Leonard Nimoy in I Am Not Spock, Shatner believed the authenticity enhanced his performance, grounding Kirk's casual moments. However, the choice led to spills during action scenes, frustrating prop masters working under tight budgets. The anecdote, shared in Star Trek memories, reflects Shatner's dedication to Kirk's realism, adding a humorous footnote to TOS's production challenges and highlighting the cast's efforts to elevate the show. 30. Cultural legacy. Star Trek's cultural impact is profound, with TOS inducted into the National Film Registry in 2009 and Star Trek II. The Wrath of Khan added in 2016 for their historical and aesthetic significance. The franchise inspired technologies like flip phones, inspired by TOS communicators, and tablets, foreshadowed by PADDs. Its themes of diversity, exploration, and ethical problem-solving resonate globally, fostering a passionate fandom that spans generations. Star Trek's influence extends to education, with NASA scientists citing the show as inspiration, and to social progress, as seen in its diverse casting. Conventions, fan fiction, and academic studies, like those in Star Trek and philosophy, underscore its enduring relevance, making Star Trek a cornerstone of modern sci-fi. Star Trek was never just entertainment. It was an idea, a vision, and a challenge to reach for the stars, not only in space, but in storytelling, inclusion, and hope. From Nichelle Nichols's quiet revolution on the bridge to Patrick Stewart's unexpected bold heroism, every moment behind the scenes helped build a legacy that still thrives today. These 30 facts remind us that great art is often forged in budget cuts, network skepticism, last-minute rewrites, and passionate fans who refuse to let it die. If these stories made you smile, rethink what you knew, or rekindled your love for the Federation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more voyages through entertainment history. And in the comments, tell us, what's your favorite behind-the-scenes Star Trek story? Whether it's real coffee on Kirk's set or Klingon Shakespeare, we want to hear it. Until next time, live long, prosper, and remember, there's no such thing as a small role when you're building a galaxy.